Hi, everybody. I'm Chris Barrett from the Pocono Television Network. We're so thrilled to have Corey with us today. We'll be racing this year at Pocono Raceway. And Corey, thank you so much for being with us. We were just reading some of your information. We found out that you met your wife here in the Pocono Mountains. That's so great. Tell us about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll save you the long story. She was living in Manhattan at the time, but she actually grew up in Mount Pocono. So definitely it's home for her. You know, her sister lives there, her grandmother lives there. So we get back a couple times a year to up there. So definitely love it. We, stayed at the Kalahari. We stayed at a couple other places. The Skytop Inn is a really cool spot. We stayed as well.
It is.
So yeah, anytime we get up there and hang out, make a vacation out of it, we try to get up there.
That's great. That's good to hear. But also, too, when I was reading a little bit about your background, I was really intrigued by the fact that racing's really in your family, right? You're the third generation racer, correct?
Yeah, so my granddad, Don, he's in the New England Auto Racing Hall of Fame, and my dad, Randy, was a two-time Xfinity Series champion. So it was in my blood, and it's all, I grew up seeing in the shop and all the different stuff. So I was in a go-kart when I was 3 years old and kind of stuck with it and got lucky and caught some breaks. And now I get to carry the name on a Sunday afternoon, which is pretty cool. So I don't take that lightly.
Yeah, and I noticed that you made your debut in New Hampshire. What did it feel like seeing your grandfather and your father, then you, that first race? How did that feel?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Just because I know my dad passed up with some opportunities to go cup racing full time, and to hang out with my brother and I growing up on Sundays. And, that's why I really don't take for granted the job that I've been provided over the last couple of years. It's my sixth year in the Cup Series. And, I'm trying to get in victory lane. It's a pretty tall task and pretty tough, but, I'm going to stick it out and keep grinding. And we bring some good cars to the racetrack here with Spire. And hopefully we can, bring a good one up here to Pocono, because I've got a trophy from there in the ARCA series. So I know how to get around there in the past, and hopefully we can, have a decent shot here this time.
So what do you like about Pocono Raceway? What do you like about the Tricky Triangle?
I love how all three corners are different. It's a challenge. You can't really get into a rhythm. You're always on your toes, especially the tunnel turn, man. It's super bumpy and tricky and sketchy because it's so fast. But a lot of stuff about it. The fans are rowdy and fun, super engaged and pumped up to have NASCAR there whenever we come in town. And the surrounding area is great as well. But the track is unique in itself, and usually the track does a pretty good job of getting the people in the seats, and it makes for a really fun weekend.
Do you think that the Tricky Triangle is one of the more challenging NASCAR tracks?
Yeah, for sure. Just because, the straightaways are so long, if you make a mistake in the corners, you really pay for it down those straightaways, especially that front straightaway. The draft comes into play as well. And there's every factor when it comes to driving race car plays into Pocono. It's not like it lends its hand to short track driving or super speedway driving. It's really a mix of everything.
So the Camaro that you're driving now, tell us just a little bit about the vehicle for our folks who maybe don't know, love racing, don't really know too much about the mechanics.
Yeah, so it's a Chevy Camaro body on top of a new NASCAR Next Gen chassis, which is what they introduced this year to start. And common components for everybody. The way you set them up and assemble, it's a bit different, but everybody works kind of with the same chassis and components to try to figure out what the best setup is. And then it's a 358 small block, which makes about 700 horsepower, give or take. It's got 15-inch tires, 18-inch wheels, weighs about 3,600 pounds. So she'll move and groove for sure. So it's definitely a pretty fun whip to drive around the weekends.
So next gen, what's different about a next gen chassis versus the previous chassis?
Yeah, so actually the front and rear portion of the car bolts to the center section of the car, and the center section's quite a bit stiffer to protect the driver. And the way that the cars are built, they're a little more safer. They're a little more safe, but NASCAR wanted to kind of get that research and development of what teams developing aero components and chassis components down to a minimum, because there's not a whole lot of ways to justify the amount of money that the teams were spending. So they wanted to go to a common source supplier, which they did this year. and I think it's been going pretty good so far. I think we've seen 13 winners in the first 18 races of the year, so it's been really an exciting time for the sport.
Well, we're excited to have you with us coming up here at Pocono, and we're thrilled that you took a few minutes to just chat with us, and love to hear about the Pocono connection that you have and very, very close to you and your family. And we wish you luck coming up here at Pocono Raceway. I'm Chris Barrett for the Pocono Television Network. Thanks for watching.